We got to start at the same time next time. I know every time we go live, you think I have a little bout of PMS, but that's offensive to me, really. You're tasked to start at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and frankly, you never get it right. So we try to wait for Chris every single time. I'm waiting to hear. I had so much time on my hands. I re-tie-dyed this shirt, Ryan. So whenever you want to go live with Chris, just let me know, and we'll start the music just like we always do, and that'd be wonderful. But until that point of time, you're grounded, frankly. Maybe the first time in quarantine in the Chris's history that you are grounded, Ryan. Hi, folks. Nice to see you there. Oh, Lavender Podcast. Wow, a lot of Lavender things used up already. We're waiting for Chris to join. Oh, wow. That's a wonderful hat. Are we live?
I think, are we?
Ryan, musica, rápido, por favor. No? Nothing.
We make our own music. We make our own music.
We're making our own music today. Making our own music 'cause it won't play. And we'll all float on, alright. Already we'll all float on, alright. Don't worry, even if things end up a bit too heavy, we'll all float on. And we're live! Welcome to Quarantining.
With the Chris's.
I'm your host, Chris.
I'm your host, Chris.
And we apologize. Usually we have the best DJ in the world, Ryan, play some tunes. Unfortunately, that's not working out today. But we're here, and it's episode number 178, episode 6 of season 3. It's taken us 6 whole weeks to get here, Chris.
Wow, are we really on 6 weeks already?
Yep, 6 weeks. Fun fact for all the viewers out there, it took us 6 days to get the 6 episodes at the beginning of the quarantine. But now here we are. You're wearing that hat. I'm wearing a shirt with our faces on it. Things have changed.
Things have changed. We're in different locations, different places, but still, we are supporting great causes. Our community cause for the day is Okaizu, Chris.
Oh, wow.
Mission of Okaizu is to help all members of families affected by childhood cancer to heal through peer support, respite, mentoring, and recreational programs.
Okaizu began with the belief that a residential camp can be an ideal setting for children struggling with cancer to explore and enjoy a normal life experience while interacting with others who truly understand their illness. Go to okaizu.org on the World Wide Web, or if you're on the Instagram, go to @okaizu, OKIZU. We had a little malfunction there in the beginning, so I'd like to thank, if you're detailing, if you're my mother in the other room, if you're my father who needs to wear a hat because he went bald when he was 18, shout to Oklahoma, the Philippines, anywhere lavender, and someone who does artwork that has a bout of PMS permanently, it looks like, has joined us as a viewer. Thank you all for joining Quarantine with the Chris's. You can find us all across the World Wide Web, QWT,
Chris's.
QWT,
Chris's.
or at QWT.
Chris's.
Oh, wow. Especially on YouTube, we have 30-something subscribers. That's about 3 million less than we need in order to make money doing this show. So if you like us, go to the link in our bio, wherever the bio is, somewhere over there, and please click it and go to our YouTube channel and hit subscribe, even if you never go on YouTube.
Until then, Chris, we gotta pay the bills.
We gotta pay the bills?
Gotta pay the bills.
Oh, okay.
Went to the local store here, Trader Joe's. We're sponsored by Trader Joe's Coconut Water.
Ooh.
Trader Joe's Body Butter.
Body butter.
Yeah.
Is that edible?
I don't know. You want to taste?
Yep. Okay. Oh, wow. Well, it tastes like chicken, Chris.
Interesting, because it smells like coconut.
Wow. Is that the first ever coconut chicken?
I think there's been some coconut chicken out there, Chris.
You think so?
Butter chicken from last week. We learned that. I wonder what we're going to learn this week.
We could probably learn maybe nothing or everything at the same time. As Ryan tries to fix the audio, we've actually never had this issue before on the show, Chris. Was this the one that you were looking forward to the most?
This show, or are we talking about the experience? Things not going correct.
Both.
Yeah. I'll say I've been looking forward to this all week, Chris. I've been in a cleanse this week. Actually, that's why I have this coconut water.
Oh wow.
I'm on a juice cleanse. Yes.
Really?
Ooh, it makes a killer coconut chicken.
Ooh, really? I mean, we you know what, Ryan? That's something you need to. First off, round of applause, folks. Round of applause. Round of applause. Thank you, Amber. Ryan, clearly, he's also our secret shopper, and by secret, we make him get us food about every 3 hours now that he's vaccinated. But we're gonna have to try that killer coconut chicken.
We sure will, Chris. And the question: do you put the coconut inside the chicken? Is it like something you stuff the chicken with, or you just go on top?
Ooh,
that's great.
Anyone in the comments there, how do you coconut your chicken? Probably the most important question we've asked on this program in 178 days.
178 days or 178 episodes, Chris? We've been going for about a year and a half now? I don't remember.
I think it's a little less than the Living Artist podcast.
A little less, I know. If only we could be in the top 10 of potential of best podcasts out there for artists, Chris.
We're in our own personal top 10, and the other artists in there are also Chris's, which is a strange top 10 to be a part of, but I accept it.
Amber has confirmed that it takes coconut milk. Interesting.
Really?
So if you milk the chicken, it produces coconut milk. Interesting.
Wow. Didn't know that. Ryan, can we get our guest on? Also, could you please stop clipping your toenails? It's very loud in here with you clipping your toenails. Frankly, it's a little offensive with all that toenail clipping going on, Ryan. I'm sorry, folks. We're having zero issues today. Don't worry. Ryan, we got someone. Do you know how to do this? We're just learning the ropes here, on the new Instagram. We have no idea. We might as well do a fundraiser to pay you to take a train ticket home. That'd be wonderful. Thanks for dealing with us today, folks, as Instagram clearly loves us. As we try to get our guest on the program, we might have to do our own little intro music as well. Please stand by. I know all of you will thoroughly enjoy that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
What's the origin story of that hat, by the way, as we're waiting for our guest to join?
This hat is actually, we'll wait till the guests come on, but I've actually been inspired by his artwork.
Really?
I created this hat just for him.
Just for him? And how did you go about creating that hat?
Well, I realized that...
Your hair looks incredible right now.
I just... Right, look at that.
This is your look right now. If there was ever a look that you needed, this was the actual look that we wanted.
Look at the hat. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that foretelling who our guest is?
We'll see.
It's make a coconut milk. That's where my grandma's straw plant pot went. See, we found it. We know where Amber's grandma's straw plant pot went. I'm sure it held the plants really well too.
It does. It holds succulents really well. This actually might be my grandmother's. I don't know. I'm staying at her place right now.
Interesting. Well, apparently that's where it went, and we just found it.
Grandma's got straw hats.
As we're waiting for our guest to join, we'd like to thank everyone watching on YouTube and Twitch, and on Facebook as well, and to our favorite Twitcher. Is that what it's called? Twitcher? Jack Quay, a lip smacker, who is prolific recently on the Twitcher. Our favorite Twitcher, the Twitch, I don't know. She's been playing a little bit of everything, Chris. Maybe she has a question for you about how to be a better gamer.
Okay, so the best way to be a better gamer, I've learned from my experiences of my childhood playing only X game sports, is the best way to do is play in the evening time when your brother's sleeping so you can get better than him. And that's the way to be good. That's just works for me personally. I don't know if it works better for other people, but that's just what worked for me.
What happens if your brother never sleeps, like mine?
Oof. Well, then you just give up at that point. You know what? You can't beat someone who can't sleep.
So, do you think people who don't sleep are unbeatable in every facet of life?
I think so. Yeah, they'll sleep when they're dead, just like all the great artists make their money when they're dead. Apparently.
That's true. Unless, fun fact here, we forgot this in the intro, because Brian isn't doing his job correctly. Brian, pick that up too. We are starting our own NFT for the Chris's. We'll be big for everyone that doesn't know what an NFT is. It stands for non-fungible token. So the first ever post and show of Quarantine with the Chris's will be made into NFT. We have no idea how to do this, but everyone's paying oodles of money for fake internet things to say they're first, so we might as well do it.
Do you have a coin already?
It's like a string of data. It's like in the blockchain, basically. I don't know how to set it up. I'm sure it'll be on like Sotheby's, or that's probably mispronounced. Probably one of the fine auctioneer sites, because I'm sure it'll go for a lot of money. Oh, is this your first freeze of the day? Sponsored by Trader Joe's Coconut Chicken. We have our first freeze of the day. We can still hear his audio, but there is a pirate eye going around his face. Are we back? Ryan?
Oh, no.
Nope. Oh. You jinxed yourself.
Right on cue.
You jinxed yourself. I'm just going to go until he starts laughing.
I jinxed myself today, didn't I?
You did jinx yourself because you said you were going to have Wi-Fi issues, and there's 4 in a row. If anyone wants to buy a hand... I'm not frozen. If anyone wants to buy a Quarantine with the Chris's t-shirt, hand tie-dyed by our friend Davey, who also is here in the tag, limited edition. They're located in Los Angeles, where neither of us are located right now, so you'll get it eventually. But if you want a t-shirt, use the checkout code Ryan and get 10% off today. If you go to QWT... QWTChrisis.com, also located in the bio. If you don't know how to spell that by now, I don't know what you should do.
B-I-O, bio. That's how you spell it.
B-I-O, bio.
B-I-O, bio. Yeah.
That's how you spell it?
No, that's I-T. That's how you spell it.
Okay. As we're waiting for a guest, apparently Ryan just put in the teleprompter that he's tried both ways. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but we'll have to ask him during the live session.
You drop the O, and that's how you get it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
As we're waiting for our guest, let me see if he is back in here. He is here, and we're going to try this. Uno mas. Hopefully he comes on. Paging the guest, Ryan. Paging the guest. Still waiting. Technical issues are our middle name here in season 3. We went a long time without having many technical issues, and now we have all of them as I sit in a beautiful field of, I believe, lavender.
You haven't left, have you?
No, I just switched locations. He said it was letting him join. I know, we're not sure. We have an exclusive club here, Amber, and if you're not on the guest list, you can't get in.
Oh, really? Is
Yeah.
that how expensive we are now?
Yeah. As we try to get our guest to come on, we might have to kick ourselves off and have him come back on. What do you think, Chris? Just do that? Go for it?
Yeah, sure. Let's restart. start it.
Okay. If you're still watching and you still like us, all 8 of you, and also on other platforms, we're going to kick ourselves off of Instagram and jump right back on. And hopefully our guest will be able to enter the building, or maybe he's frolicking around this field right now. We'll be right back. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. I'm just going to let the one run on YouTube and Twitch. Thank you all for watching us. There's nothing to really look at us right now as I post this. This is the intro. And we'll put intro, and that sounds nice, right? Post a preview. Why not? Maybe people will like us. We'll post that. Posting, 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 using air horns. There we go. We're going to come right back on here. Quarantine the Chris's, a special edition of not being able to get our guest on. Not the first time, won't be the last. But here we go. Shout out to Jimmy Jew. We're trying to get you on the show. You have way more followers than us. Instagram works like this. That's a picture of me and all of my pictures. Details. Here we go. Here we go. Do this. And we're going to do that. Thanks again for sticking with us. All 1 of you still watching as I hit live again. Might as well just start the whole show over again, Ryan. What do you think? No? You still clipping your nails? You don't care at all, huh? Yeah, I get it. I get it a lot. I have no idea if I'm live right now. It looks like I'm not. Things are not working well today in the quarantine quarters. One more time. Live. Details. Add. Still going. Still going. Let's add an exclamation mark. Maybe that's what's doing it. Checking connection. Checking connection. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for supporting such a critical cause, Sam Steinway, with the comment of the day. I'm going to add you to the broadcast, Sam, so everyone can see. Thank you on YouTube for still watching us. We have 3 of them, actually. And thank you on Instagram for joining us. We are trying to get our guest on. You know what? We don't even need Chris with the hat on anymore, but we're going to try to get him back on. Thank you, everyone, for dealing with these technical issues and coming back to join us. We're going to take away this, I can't leave that on forever on the YouTube, and come back on the old Instagram. Oh, hey, Chris, how you doing today?
Oh, hey, I thought you had the guest on.
I did. It was me. I just kept talking. Oh, we have a request. We have a request, Ryan. We got a request.
Finally.
We got a request. I blame Instagram and Instagram only. Hopefully we can get our guest on. We are waiting right now. Thank you for coming back on as we had some technical issues here. And hopefully no mas. It's like you're in the Sound of Music. The hills are alive, Mr. Quinn, with the Sound of Music as we're hopefully getting our guest on. But I have no idea if it's going to work or not. And if not, we just keep blabbering until we decide not to anymore.
Blabber. I like that terminology.
It's a technical term.
It's technical.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been reading a book recently that's really good. And it's a very popular book. It's very well written.
Really?
Yeah. I don't even know how to pronounce it right.
That must be. It's so good you can't even pronounce it. Is that the tagline?
Jane Uire. Really good book. Charlotte Bronte is a phenomenal writer. It got me captivated. It's like kind of has a feeling of. Have you seen The Queen's Gambit?
I have watched Queen's Gambit. I almost watched it all in one night, actually. It was really excellent. Also, fun fact, the actress whose name I cannot remember, who plays the lead actress in Queen's Gambit, has made my dad also say that redheads are in play. So if you're a blonde woman with no grandkids, do not wear glasses and have hair just over your shoulders, also now accounts for redheads as well.
All right. Wow. Yeah, she's quite quite attractive. She definitely plays that role real well.
Yep. So tell me a little more about your Queen's Gambit experience.
Well, I feel like Queen's Gambit might have been inspired by it, the book. That's all I'm saying. Anya Taylor, is that her name?
The Queen's Gambit was actually a novel.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if that novel takes any inspiration, possibly, because Jane Eyre is she's an orphan kid. She was growing up in an orphan home, I guess, back in the day. Big fan of Gulliver's Travels. Have you read that?
I think I saw like the animated version of it when I was a child in the 90s.
Yeah. I never watched it, but something that reminds my favorite movie growing up that was kind of has Gulliver Travels type esque, Big Fish.
Oh, wonderful movie. Great soundtrack.
Great soundtrack. Almost as good as The Sound of Music, but not quite.
That probably almost has as many downloads as The Sound of Music.
Probably.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining Quarantine with the Chris's. As we're having some technical issues trying to get our guest on. Possibly Ryan didn't pay the Xfinity bill, which is a distinct possibility these days.
Oh, you still go with Xfinity?
Yeah, it's the only option here. I think there's one other option, but it's better. Yeah. What kind of Wi-Fi do you have there in Arizona? Is it just a hamster in like a ball in the swimming pool that keeps it warm?
Actually, a funny story is, basically, is a hamster, and the hamster stops about 9 o'clock at night. So if you want to take a warm shower late at night, you're not going to get any warm water.
Really?
True story, yeah. No warm water past 9 o'clock for some odd reason. When you're in the desert, where it should be. I mean, you could just stick a pipe outside with water, and it should be warm enough by being so hot all day.
So why don't you start a company providing warm water past 9 o'clock to all? Is it it's the Sunshine State of Arizona?
We get a bit of sunshine here. Yeah, it's been 80s and 90s. I know we talked about. We had this discussion earlier on about hiking in 90-degree weather or hiking in 40-degree weather. And I think I'm actually going to take back what I said, because 90-degree weather here is actually kind of beautiful. You get a nice little sunset going, you get a little sweat, and you catch a nice little sunset, and then the walk back is just phenomenal. So I think I'm going to go back and switch my answer to 90-degree weather, as long as it's hot and not like or it's warm heat. There's not like any humidity. Those are my stipulations.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you should also sell some coconut chicken to help make sure those stipulations come true.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Maybe, Amber, I can get the recipe from you. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. We had a suggestion from the audience to try to kick one of us off to see if the guest would come on. We might have to try to do that. Oh, okay. Thanks again, people of the internet world, for joining Quarantine the Chris's here live. Anything can happen. We're trying to get our guest on, and we've been blabbering for quite some time, but we all appreciate you very much, and thank you for sticking with us as this has gone as smooth as possible. And also shout out to there he is, folks. We did it. We kicked off one beautiful blonde and got another one in.
The world is not big enough for both Chris's.
Wow. That's this is a Quarantine of the Chris's first, on with Preston Smith at PMS Artwork. We're gonna see if we can get CJ to join in, but I have no idea if we'll allow him in, and we might just have to kick him off the show completely, and you could be the new guest host.
Hey, there you go. We can start a little side project.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Wow, I'm really sorry. It would not let me join. It said requested the whole time. Couldn't get on there.
You know what?
To you sing and float on, and I was getting into it, and then I guess we just had to float off.
It's show business, baby. We had a hot song ready for you to come on to. Bless you, Ryan. And it was gonna be Morning Glory. Well, Yeah, usually Chris and I would dance to that and do something stupid, but unfortunately that's not happening as we wait for him to. He now says he's unable to join. Maybe Instagram put us in the proverbial doghouse. But we'll.
I wore my bow tie for you guys too.
Oh, you know what, Ryan? My bow tie is in the backpack on top. Could you get the bow tie? That was supposed to happen, actually. Well.
No, just the bow tie though.
Oh, wait. Oh, wow. You know what? Good thing the camera isn't in full HD, or else the audience would get a show there, Preston.
No pants, just the bow tie.
Oh, wow. Well, we were busy having Ryan read us word for word about your podcast. I mean, obviously, you're a multifaceted artist. Check out at PMS Artwork on the Instagram for all the wonderful artwork that the Chris's can't afford. But Ryan had been dictating your podcast recently, which just celebrated 1 year. Congratulations for 1 year. And is number one in our hearts, but number 8 of the new art podcast in 2021. Could you talk about that experience with your voice being the art now?
Yeah, not number 1 with your mom's, but you know. Hey. I love that tagline. Yeah, it's been something that I've really wanted to do for a long time. I kind of came down here to be like an actor and a painter. I studied both in college, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do both. And then I came down here and I realized, at the time at least, I couldn't handle it both. So I focused on my art, which is what my mentor always told me. He's like, you're going to be an artist. I was like, all right. So, I don't know. That's what I ended up doing. And then as I progressed, I was like, you know what? I want to share and start like a community within the art world where I can at least share some of my tips, tricks that I've learned over 20 years of doing art full time, and kind of foster a little bit of a community. And so I was like, hey, I can get a little bit of my performance out there too. I always do a little wackiness. That's why I respond to you guys' podcast. I have a lot of wackiness with mine too, and throw a lot of my old performance, like some voices and bad impersonations in there.
No, I enjoyed it. It's almost like you have your own intern. At least your intern does something with voices. Our intern just has waiting for ICJ scroll across the bottom of the screen because Instagram won't let us have 3 people.
Is that a new thing? What's going on?
Actually, it's a new thing as of beginning of last month. We're in April, in the 4th version of the pandemic, like COVID 4.0, I think. Yeah, but Instagram just allowed us. Yeah, Instagram just allowed us last month to do it, and now they're not allowing us anymore for some reason. Who knows?
Trying to keep the Chris's down.
I know, it's tough. But you are out there in sunny California. Right. Unable to join. We're still trying, folks. Usually there's 2 of us here, but today we're doing it solo as the internet hates us.
At least I'm not crazy, right?
I don't know. We're all.
I might be crazy still, but
I think we're all a little crazy, right?
We're all a little crazy. Definitely these days. By the way, sunny California, it's completely dark and dreary today.
Oh.
You're on the East Coast right now, right?
Yeah, I'm in beautiful Flanders, New Jersey, which I think is called the Sunshine State around the internet.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'll be in cow country coming up soon. If you see Betsy back there, our cow in Wisconsin, yes. We got to go catch her before the next episode.
She's wandering off.
Yeah. We're on with Preston Smith at PMS Artwork on the Instagram. If there is any questions, there's a question mark box or a comment box below. Ask away. We had a question fly in here. I don't even know if it's going to appear. I just pressed it. From a cat mom in Wisconsin. Tell us more about the experience of presidential portraits. So cool. She must have been stalking your Instagram today.
Yeah, so that was something that, thank you for the question, first of all. That was something that I did in 2009 for the Obama inauguration. And it was something that was like a last minute thing. A friend of a friend who had an artist fall out, and they were doing some paintings for celebrities who were attending the inaugural Purple Ball in Washington, D.C. And they're like, we've got 3 weeks. We need 12 paintings of the president. We need them to be basically identical, not prints, but like you have to paint each one, and they have to be almost identical. And I work with oils, which have a drying time. They're like, "Can you do it?" And I said, "Yeah." And I was freaked out, but I was working as a waiter at the time, so I basically just would like wake up, paint, go to work, come back, paint, not sleep, just rinse and repeat. And I had like fans all over the apartment, drying everything. And I pulled it off like just under the wire. And then I got to go to DC and I got to give these paintings to actually Judd, Josh Lucas, Amy Brenneman, Bill Devo. I don't know if they're still around. But yeah, it was great. It was an amazing experience.
That's awesome. Have you followed up with any of them to see if your artwork is still on their walls and/or snuck into their homes just to double check?
Right. Yeah, it's hard. I've got Ed Harris right here, actually. No.
Oh, wow. Ed.
That'd be amazing. No, I have reached out to some of them. It's hard to get a hold of them, but I just have the pictures and the conversations to prove it. It was one of those things where at the time I was a little green as a person who would like promote myself. I didn't know how to write a press release. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. So I was just like the lone artist in the studio making my work, and I didn't really capitalize on it. Aside from the experience itself, I didn't really capitalize on it until later. And now everybody's like, "Oh man, you should have really done it." I know I should have done more with that.
Yeah.
But
everyone probably thinks it's so easy. You're like, do you know I had like a job and then was doing this all night and was pretty sure I wasn't going to finish it on time, but somehow it all worked out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I didn't know anything. I mean, this was like back in the MySpace days. We didn't have Instagram. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have anything. So yeah, I just really didn't know how to go about it. But luckily, I did some other things with my career and worked with a bunch of galleries and started doing my online stuff. And now it's just a fun story to tell. I'm hoping to hook up with like some of these people down the road. Like Josh Lucas and I, we talked a lot. He's kind of involved in the art world, and he was talking about doing some sort of art fair in New Orleans. And I'm hoping to get back with him at some point. Maybe revisit that.
That'd be awesome. Would it also be awesome if you were able to have that wherewithal in the future of promoting yourself with the press releases and whatnot on your MySpace page, which if you loaded it right now, what would your MySpace page song play?
Oh my God. I think it might play Love Will Tear Us Apart.
Ooh.
Yeah, by Joy Division.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
Little Daniel Johnston too.
It's funny because I think like most MySpace and my friends at the time was like, he was a skater boy. I said, see you later, boy.
Yeah. I was going through a dark phase, so I was going with the new wave.
Speaking of a dark phase, Ryan had put in the notes here on the teleprompter about your transitioning as an artist, both with the medium and the type of art that you're doing, and had mentioned something dark to light. I thought he was talking about alcoholic beverages, but could you enlighten us about what exactly that means?
Yeah, it's all the above. I mean, it's literally, the darkness of the paintings into the lightness of my colors now. I work with really bright, vibrant colors now, but at the time, I was going through a very kind of tortured, dark artist phase for many years, probably over a decade. I was drinking too much. I was like, I was living the what I thought was the dream, but it was kind of a nightmare, And I started to kind of get back in touch with my sense of humor and my light side. I met my wife, and that helped, obviously. And then my art just started to kind of turn into this bright, colorful thing. It just changed. I mean, I was doing that a little bit with like the backgrounds of my pop surrealist pieces at the time, but it was like, I think there was like always an abstract artist that was trying to kind of break out. But this was, it just gave me the permission to kind of make that transition.
That's awesome. And then when about did that transition start?
It was probably around, it started about 2011, 2012. I was kind of fighting. I was being pulled in two directions. Like if you look at my work at the time, you can see some of my really dark self-portraits and figurative stuff. And then I'm throwing in some light stuff. So it was kind of like I was fighting with myself. I was like, should I be this? Should I be this? And then probably around 2014, I just made the cut. I still will go back and paint a figurative piece from time to time. Like I did a Heisenberg painting a couple years ago.
Walter
White. Yeah, so that was cool. And that piece sold to actually a friend of mine from college, like right away. So, it's funny because once you start making the transition, some of your older pieces, which you couldn't sell at the time, they become kind of a hot item,
Yeah.
So maybe that's the thing. Every 10 years, you change styles.
Yeah, I like that. We change styles about every 10 minutes because we have no direction of this show yet, but we're looking for it.
I like it. No, I like it. Haphazard.
There you go. We're on live. It's by myself, but I'm used to saying we. Quarantine the Chris is with Preston Smith at PMS Artwork on the Instagram. Preston, I'm not sure exactly who this is in the comments, but you just got a kissy face with a heart. I think that means that the Lizard Queen might like you.
Yeah, I hope so. She's my wife.
Oh, okay.
We could have just made up a name and got a lot of. She would have. You could have heard her come back here screaming. Who is this?
Right. Who just blew you a kissy face on Instagram Live? Like, oh, this is our first Quarantine the Chris's divorce live on Instagram.
Hey, exactly. Hey, she's from Argentina, so watch out.
Ryan.
I don't know what that means.
Ryan, I know what that means. I know you know. Yeah. This Silencio, Ryan. We're gonna keep that zipped up.
She's
there.
driving home on the freeway now. I hope she's like being safe. She just laughed. Okay.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Queen Lizard, for joining us and everyone else on Instagram. We have questions flying in. If anyone has any questions for Preston, there is a question mark box below. This one looks like from my co-host, Christopher Jansen. How do you clean up after the oils?
That's personal, man. Come on.
Oh.
No. How do I? That's tough. When you're an oil painter, I do dabble with acrylics now and a bunch of other mediums, but oils, especially, it's just something you got to get used to. They get everywhere. They're in your clothes. They're on the walls. You find them on the carpet. So basically, you do what? Dawn dish soap.
It cleans. As my mother says, it cleans oil off of ducks. So it should clean oil off of humans.
It should. Yeah, I've used dish soap, but also turpentine. Nowadays they don't use the old school turpentine. It's mineral spirits. It's a little safer. But yeah, turpentine. You know what works well? Lysol wipes.
Really?
Lysol wipes. Yep.
Huh. Interesting. Well, if Lysol isn't your sponsor yet, I mean, what are they waiting for?
They're going to be. This podcast brought to you by Lysol wipes.
Brought to you by Lysol wipes. Why does this sound so serious? We have no idea, but wipe it up, Lysol.
Wipe it up.
We have questions flying in. This one also, for some reason now on Instagram, not only is my co-host not here, unfortunately, but I also can't read the questions ahead of time, so let's just roll with it.
Roll with it. Ask you some questions.
Here we go. ICJ, my co-host Chris, who can't come on because Instagram hates us today, said, what's the next phase for the next 10 years?
Oh, wow. That's a good question.
Deep.
Yeah, well, the podcast is kind of still starting out, so I'm hoping to take that to the next level. I've been getting on some lists, but I'm hoping to get some, bigger and, not better, but bigger and, more well-known artists and maybe even some celebrities on the podcast at some point. Get some more sponsors with my art. Just continue to sell. I'm actually kind of going to be moving into a bigger studio space soon, so I'm going to start working on some really large pieces. I've done a few very large pieces, but I'm going to start cranking those out like every week, every other week. $10,000-$15,000 pieces. Just to have I range from I've got little micro paintings, like these little pieces that are framed, and I want to do that from that to very large 8-foot by 8-foot pieces. I do assembled stuff too. I recycled pieces off. I get wood off of the street of Los Angeles. I go through alleyways and just grab whatever I can find, turn it into art. So I'll continue doing that. But yeah, just expanding the size, getting the podcast out there. I do want to kind of expand the YouTube channel as well. I was working on that this year too with the pandy, as we talked about.
Yeah.
And as you know, it's tough to grow the YouTube channel, so I'm going to be doing a lot of different content when I get into the studio. I'm excited to film some different stuff, film some of these really large pieces being created, and get that out there.
That's awesome. So, I mean, you must have at least 1,000 pieces of art out there. Are you deciding to do all this, hopefully in the next decade, just to put more of it on your walls behind you?
Always. No, yeah. The goal is to get less of my artwork on the wall. Actually, so that was one thing that I did this year in the last couple of years. I was like, you know what? I'm going to just focus on selling this work, and luckily, I've been selling a little over half. So like, out of every couple pieces I create, at least one of those sells. So I just passed I think I'm at like 55% of my inventory I've sold, and I made like 1,000 pieces. So yeah, I just crossed 500 original pieces sold. So I'm hoping to keep that going.
Wow.
So less artwork on the walls.
Less artwork on the walls, folks. Congratulations on 500. And Ryan, this celebrates with the bow tie. Thank you. We forgot to put this on for the intro. But as Chris chimes in here, unfortunately Instagram's not letting him on. But he just said, "What novellas are you working on?" I don't know if he means spicy novellas or some other type of books. But you're an artist, a podcaster, a man of the people. I think it says here on the teleprompter. But also an author.
A man of the people. Yeah. I've done it all. You know, I was in a punk ska band for some years. I was the lead singer of that. I've written a couple of novels and a collection of poetry, and it was a compilation of poetry and original paintings. So novellas, I don't know. I'm sure I got a couple more in me. I think I've got like a self-help book. By the way, I'm wearing the Pee Wee Herman tie.
You know what? This is bullshit because this is also this is a hair clip.
That's great. I mean, this is a clip-on, so don't feel bad.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
Oh, perfect.
So yeah, I've got like a self-help book kind of rolling around in my mind, not for artists, like kind of continuing on with the whole living artist theme. Just some stuff that you can do to kind of apply to your life to make art and selling art, and just being kind of like more of a centered artist, make that a little easier for artists. I'm not sure when I'm going to start working on that, but it'll happen.
There we go. We'll be looking for that. Preston Smith at PMS Artwork on the Instagram. It looks like all questions are from the same person because Instagram is just spazzing out of control right now.
We lost at least half of our people in the first snafu too.
You know what? It's live TV, baby. It's showbiz. Anything can happen. This question also from my co-host Chris. How do you keep from joining the dark side again? Ooh.
The dark side. You know what? I like to join the dark side.
Ooh.
Now the trick is just to not go there permanently. So what I do a lot of times now is I just I can dip into it. I can dip into the old experiences, a lot of the darkness from my past, and listening to some music. I get into that space for about 4 or 5 hours and create a piece, and then when I'm done, I can actually kind of come out of it and not let it take over my life like it used to. So that's something that's been really invaluable for me as an artist, because you kind of need those intense emotions. A lot of people say, it's that old question of, can you create great art if you're not experiencing pain and frustration, strife. Like, I do think you need to experience some of those emotions as an artist to create deep work. But for me, it's just like, I don't want to live that all the time. I've been there. It's horrible. So now when I can dip back into it for my studio time, it's great. And then I can kind of just pause it afterwards and go see my wife and be a happy person,
That's great. I mean, you talk a lot about your podcast, The Living Artist, about, I guess, the common perception of artists as like the starving artist or the tortured artist. Why does everyone put artists like yourself in this type of box where they think that you should be like this or need to be like that or need to cut off your ear or stab someone in the eye, which I'm sure has happened in history, in order to be a great artist. Why is that perpetuate throughout time?
Well, I think a lot of great art has come from people not knowing what to do with their emotions. Like, I don't know how to deal with this in my life, so I'm going to just exercise this onto a canvas or into music or, into poetry. I think it's art that's when it's at its best is when it's kind of like a working through period. Like, I still use that. So I think that's valid, but I think it's also been perpetuated, and I think the media and people have just gotten infatuated with the idea of the tortured, starving artist, and we love to see that. Like, we love to look at biopics. Like, one of my favorite movies is Pollock, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Pollock and Basquiat, and both of those don't end well.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, they don't end well.
You didn't already know.
Yeah.
They didn't end well for the artist, and they didn't end well for anybody around them. So, and I used to remember thinking, like, oh, that's kind of sexy, like that whole lifestyle, like the hard drinking, hard living. And I did it for a while, and it's not fun. It's not as fun as it is when you're watching somebody else do it in the movies. And so I think it's good. I think there is some mental illness sometimes with artists. Everybody really, that's out there. But I think we need to kind of get ourselves right and use art for what it is, which is a great way to express ourselves and kind of get out and work through some of those emotions.
Well said. We're on live with Preston Smith. We, as in my co-host who's asking questions in the comments, which doesn't seem to be his fault this time, the internet issues, but we have other questions flying in from around the world. It could be from him. It doesn't tell me the question ahead of time. It could ask you boxers or briefs. If you don't want to answer, don't answer.
Boxers.
Oh, yeah. I wear boxer briefs, fun fact.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Hybrid.
And on Fridays during the show, we called it Fancy Fridays, and I only wore underwear and a suit jacket on top. Also another fun fact. We have a question here, Preston. What was your AIM handle, your AOL Instant Messenger handle?
I never had AOL Instant
Wow.
Messenger. Although I did just watch You've Got Mail again with my wife.
Ooh.
So, fun little fact there.
Oh.
I remember ICQ. Are you? Oh, what was that?
Oh, that was a fun fact sound that Ryan puts in sometimes.
Oh,
Yeah.
fun fact. Nice.
We're like, am I being attacked?
We're being invaded.
Right. Like my grandmother says, she's like, oh well, like at least the Japanese aren't still bombing us. And I'm like, oh man, grandma, like you gotta move past that.
Yeah. That's a while ago.
Yeah.
Do you remember ICQ?
I do. Yeah. My brother was big on
Do you
that.
remember ICQ?
Yeah. Internet chat relay, but what was the Q for?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anon?
Q Anon. This is where the roots happened. Back in the day, ICQ.
Yep.
ICQ. Yeah, so I don't have an AOL incident, but I do remember ICQ. That was like, we lived by ICQ back in the day.
Yeah, you could also download music off ICQ, right? Chat rooms?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Everything. This was back when, like, LimeWire
Mhm.
and all those, Napster were all starting out. I just remember being in college. We were either legally downloading music or ICQing or doing both at the same time.
Yeah.
I just remember, you're probably there too with me. It's fun being in that kind of transitional generation where you knew what it was like before it.
Yeah.
So you kind of have that frame of reference. And then you have the frame of reference of, like, transitioning into all the madness.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up. My brother recently was talking about how we bought a CD burner to burn CDRs to sell them to classmates. We had a joint conglomerate because it was $500 for a CD burner, internal CD burner. So we basically saved up our entire lives to that point. Bought it, sold, burned CDs for $5 a piece. Shout to the recording artist. I don't know if Metallica's gonna sue me what now.
Probably.
They
need their $100.
Right. They need all of it. It's $1 zillion per song. But the best part about it is I was really, really lazy selling CDs, and my brother was not. but we split it 50-50. So he sold probably 100 plus CDs, and I sold like 20, and we made our money back. But he was the one that was doing all the legwork.
See, there you go. That's a valuable life lesson right there.
Yeah. But like kids won't know that. Like to burn a CD at that time, it took basically a minute per song. Yeah, so like a 60-minute album would take 60 minutes to burn the CD, and now kids get it in like 0.6 seconds. And then if anything,
it's like, if you don't get it like instantaneously, like you're not worth my time.
Yeah, at all. But you know who is worth your time? Lizard Queen, who just said before, "I seek you."
Oh.
Wow.
Double meaning?
I don't know.
Maybe?
We might have to talk about that later. Holly Kenny Art, or Kenny Holly Art, said LimeWire with a lot of emojis and a laughing cat.
That all makes sense.
Yeah. And the best part, like,
Scratch fever.
are there any songs, and it's still on this topic because obviously it's important. Are there any songs that you will still like hear a skip or like a blip or something wrong with the song that you had downloaded back in those days?
Oh my god, I've got so many of those. Are you kidding me? So many David Bowie songs, and I got like Morrissey, the Smiths.
Mm-hmm.
So many of those still skip. I'm like, I'm not gonna buy the song now. Come
Right.
on.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about you?
I'm the same way. Like I'm trying to think. It'll come to me, but there'll be songs that I'll hear on the radio that are now like classic rock, and I'm like, that's weird that this is classic rock or whatever you want to call it now. But I'll sing like a skip or a blip or like something that like a silence part in my head, and I'll be like, wait a minute, this isn't the real song. Like they didn't intend this to be like this.
Right, exactly. And then that reminds me of a lot of the movies now. Like we watch a lot of movies, and if you go to the classic section of Hulu or anything like that, they'll have movies from 2010 now. These are classics.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Justin Timberlake movie is a classic.
Yeah. I feel like anything like pre-pandemic could be classic now. Like, is there gonna be like some new era that we don't know the name of yet? It'd be like, oh, that was a classic. That was 2019.
Yeah, that was pre-pandy.
Yeah, pre-pandy. Times were different back then.
Well, that's true. Times were different back then.
Speaking of the pandemic, and I'm sure you might have some old Preston Smith albums on CDR you'd also sell on your website, PMS Artwork. But how has the pandemic affected your art? Not only, I guess, in being an artist as your day job now, but also just the type of art that you're putting out there.
That's a great question. It's affected all artists. I think from a monetization standpoint, it's affected a lot of artists who were just showing art in galleries. When all those brick and mortar galleries shut down, it was like, oh, we're not selling art anymore. So a lot of these galleries were scrambling to catch up and be virtual now. And a lot of people who already had the infrastructure to kind of sell online, like I do, good website, online art marketplaces, some of those actually saw an uptick in sales. And it was very surprising. Like I remember when it first happened, when the pandemic happened, the first month I was like, what's gonna happen here? My sales kind of grinded to a halt, and then they started to pick up because people they were staring at their walls. They were like, we need to get some color in here. So people started buying more art, which was great. So I actually had a little uptick in sales, but at the same time, obviously, the pandemic affected us all mentally, emotionally. So yeah, it gave us a lot to work with. I know a lot of artists were saying, I can't create right now. I'm just too depressed. For me, I actually get a lot of inspiration from depression. So I was able to turn that into a lot of work. So I was able to create a lot, which is great. I don't remember the other part of the question.
I think it was, what color is the sky?
Oh, yes. Turquoise.
The other part of the question was, I guess, selling your art, showcasing your art. Like, how has that affected, I guess, your art as a business and the way you make money during the pandemic?
Yeah, it's been for the most part, from like a lot of the people that I relate to. Where are you represented? Gallery representation. Oh, I'm represented by Shockbox Gallery in Hermosa Beach. I also do some stuff with BG Gallery. But I mean, primarily it's Shockbox. But it's to get back to your question, it has actually my sales have gone up. Like I sold over 100 paintings last year, which was just like, wow.
Wow.
I mean, I normally sell about 4 to 6, sometimes 8 a month in normal times, and I was selling solid 8 to 9 to 10, even sometimes some months during the pandemic, which was great. I mean, people just were starving for not only to beautify their place, but I think art is what kind of came to the forefront of the pandemic. It's like we needed inspiration, we needed a break from all the madness. I think music also was flourishing during the pandemic. Movies, where I know a lot of people were just if you own stock in Netflix or streaming services, you did well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
People needed to be distracted, and I think it was the same with fine art. So if you were an artist who had kind of the online infrastructure, you could do well.
Awesome. We have questions flying in from around the world with Preston Smith at PMS Artwork. The PMS stands for Preston. This question for my colleague here, who's not here at all. Can you talk about your work with Prison Arts Collective?
Oh, yeah. So Prison Arts Collective is a group that works with... Sorry. I got a little choked up.
Here you go. Here's some.
I got it. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
You transferred it.
Yeah.
They work with people who've been incarcerated, and they bring art to them and give them kind of an outlet to express themselves, which is kind of what we were talking about with the pandemic. So they work with incarcerated people, and they reached out. They were like, oh, we love the podcast. We have a live broadcast. We do it with KSPC radio in San Diego. And they were like, can we broadcast a couple of your episodes? And I said, yeah. I'm a big proponent of saying yes to these things. I think a lot of people are just like, well, no, this is my content, but get it out there. Like, who are you trying to keep it from? You know, the more people that listen to your stuff, the more your message is getting out there. Yeah. So yeah, I was just like, for sure, let's do it. And they were great. They broadcasted it 2 episodes, once in the morning, once at night. And I think, I was attracted to it because, first of all, I love to get more people listening to what I'm putting out there, but also if it can affect people, if you can reach somebody and inspire somebody. They picked one of my episodes, which was called Breathe With Me, which is about meditation. And I use meditation a lot with my art to get centered and to kind of get into the creative mindset. So, maybe that was able to reach 1 or 2 people,
Hopefully. I think it also reached my co-host here, Chris, who is the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain today. When do you take your advice, Preston, from the podcast and say no?
No. Well, I say no. That's a hard one, because a lot of times some of my content is like scratching my own itch or trying to, give advice to myself. And the no episode was all about that. It's like, it's hard because, as an artist, you're trying to get yourself out there. You're trying to get your work in front of as many people as possible. You're trying to get into galleries. You're trying to have shows. You're trying to sell your work here. Nowadays, you can spread yourself so thin. As you guys probably know, just even with podcasts and social media, you can be doing everything. Like, oh, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. I have anxiety. So if I do too much, I know my anxiety is like a red flag. It's like, okay, you're doing too much. So I've just had to learn to say no as I've gotten more busy with online stuff, with galleries, with podcasts, with YouTube. I was having like a little bit of a pandy nervous breakdown. So yeah, just figuring out this stuff that you should say no to, and that it's okay to say no. I'm a little bit of a people pleaser. I know a lot of artists are people pleasers, and it's very hard for us to turn down opportunities. But sometimes you've got to, for your own sanity and for your family too.
And the most important question I think that has been asked by the audience today, aka my co-host, what's better, Thin Mints or Wheat Thins?
Oh man. Well, I would say, I'm just gonna say Thin Mints in general.
Thin Mints in
I've
general.
got a little bit of a gluten intolerance. It makes me sleepwalk, so I'm gonna go with Thin Mints.
would you dare say that Thin Mints are better after they're frozen?
Ooh, of course.
Yeah, there we go. This is, wow, that was wow, that was tough. I mean, if you answered incorrectly there, we were gonna basically do that little trap door thing, and you would go wherever the trap door goes. Oh, there it worked. We have another question here. Looks like from the same person. Oh, no, new person. Holly asks, how do you know when to quit your day job and do art full time? Wonderful question.
Oh, man, that is a great question. You never know 100%. I worked at a restaurant for 16 years. I hated every minute of it. Every minute of it. Except for the last minutes when I made my peace with it and I was ready to leave. But I think you have to test things. I think if you were just to start out with art and just go, hey, I'm ready to go. Let's just burn the boats now. You've got no boats to burn, right? I mean, I think you have to. I did this. I worked at nights in the restaurant. I kind of started figuring out. First of all, I built a body of work. You got to do that. You got to find your voice as an artist first. Develop that so you've got a discernible voice that people see and can recognize. I think that's still important. And then once you have that, you've got to start testing the water, see if you can sell. Whether that's in galleries, whether that's online, whether it's a combination of the two, whether it's NFTs. You know what I mean?
NFTs.
I heard you talking about that.
I know nothing about them. I just know people buy them for $1 zillion.
$1 zillion in Ethereum?
Ethereum, that's right.
Yeah. So, test the waters. See if you can start making some money. Like for me, I had some debt, right? I was like, I'm going to pay off my debt with my art. Okay, I paid off my debt with my art. Now, can I start saving up money with my art? Can I start building a little bit of a cushion? So I did that, and then I got to a point where I was making about the same money with my art as I was with my day job.
Oh, wow.
And then at that point, I was like, okay, I'm going to save up enough money for a year. So if I can just really go 100% for a year, and if at least I have this money as a cushion to fall back on. And then I was like, now it's time to burn the boats, and now it's time to jump off the cliff. I'm mixing metaphors. Jump off the cliff into the boats, and then burn them.
Burn the cliff and jump off the boats.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then and then at that point you just have to be ready to put in the work. I mean, it's a lot of work. People think, my friends still go, oh, you're probably in the studio painting right now. It's like, I mean, I do paint every day, but I also 60% of my day is online, like uploading, marketing, doing all that stuff. It's not as sexy, but it's something you got to do.
It's not all the sexy, like, wispy clouds. Look at the wispy clouds.
Exactly. We're going to paint a happy cloud.
We have a question from Suzanne Scott, also an artist in New York City, who has been on the show before and is still mad at us for her dog Lulu not being nominated for a Chrissy's Award recently. Maybe next time. She asks you, Preston, will you be exploring NFTs?
I will be exploring NFTs. I was actually recording a podcast episode about NFTs, and I just kind of got frustrated and I stopped. I'm learning right now. I did open an account on OpenSea. I do know about non-fungible tokens. I know basically anything can be turned into an NFT. I can be turned into an NFT if you want. But anybody out there? 1 billion Ethereum? So of course I'm going to be doing it. Right now I'm waiting to see. I don't want to wait too long because nowadays you have to jump on. We're going to talk about boats again. You got to jump on the boat early before you burn it. But I hear a lot of people making money. I've heard some horror stories about people selling NFTs and then not being able to get their money, not being able to transfer it to whatever Bitcoin and then transfer it to money, or the site just all of a sudden says, no, we're not honoring this. So I've heard some horror stories. I know Ethereum is supposed to be pretty solid. But yeah, I'm just exploring right now. I've got some friends who sold some. I want to hear how their process is as far as like cashing out and what it translates into. And if it's going to keep going like this, people are spending millions of dollars in NFTs right now. But is that sustainable? I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting because like it also aligns with like I used to be a big like baseball and basketball card collector when I was a kid. Like I loved it. I would go to shows. I would
For
want,
sure.
and I still have them unless my mother sold them, which is also a distinct possibility. Probably sold them to the trash, but like they have come back and the value on those have been exploding. And then with NFTs is interesting because you have like the first tweet ever, right? That's being sold. You have pieces of art and things that are like one-offs, but then you also have like New York Times. I listened to a podcast recently where a writer for the New York Times wrote an article about NFTs and then made an NFT for that article.
Yep.
And everyone was ragging on him, saying it was not going to sell, or they're like side bets on like this is trash, and then it sold for I think a couple $100,000. Ryan, could you fact check that? But yeah, it was some crazy amount of money, and the guy's like, and it all went to charity. But it was like I don't know how this works, but it worked.
It's insane. I think right now there's a lot of people who they just have their money in whatever it is, Bitcoin or is it Ethereum? What is the actual value called? Is it Ether or what is it?
Yeah, Ethereum. Yeah, ETH, Ether or Ethereum is
ETH.
like the long. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what they actually call the money, but I think there's a lot of people right now with a lot of it, and they just don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to catch up at some point. I think pretty soon people are not just going to be throwing their cryptocurrency at everything. But right now, I mean, hey, jump on the bandwagon right now if you can. If you get the time. Still, I was going to actually put up that Heisenberg painting I was telling you about as a digital version of that because, hey, that's a popular show. So I'm all about it. Like, just try everything. Throw a bunch of stuff at the wall, see what sticks.
Yeah. If anyone wants to throw Ethereum or Bitcoins at Preston Smith at PMS Artwork, or myself or my co-host Chris, we would love to catch it and hold on to it, and hopefully it increases value, and then we're internet rich.
That's right.
Yeah. Preston, we have some frankly offensive comments and a nice comment. Holly, love it, thank you. May's Nature Adventures, two cool, smart guys. Ooh, very nice, thank you for that. I'm not sure who exactly she's talking about, but at least hopefully it's you, Preston. Lulu NYC, apparently an ankle biter and dog, says second-rate show. The other Chris is better. All right. Her mother just said she's in the doghouse. Apologies, Chris. Wow.
And shots fired.
Yeah. And we have a final question here from my co-host, who I'm sure is wearing his hat still that he wrote PMS on and was really proud of and wanted to show you. But
it feels so bad. I love that hat.
we might have to do a round 2 podcast only version on the old Zoom. But he asked you, when are we getting a PMS coin?
That is a great question. That's coming soon. As soon as I can figure out the blockchain, I get some people, get some assistant on that, I will get a PMS coin for sure with my face on it. And the bow tie. You gotta have the bow tie for that. Because what sells cryptocurrency better than a bow tie?
I mean, you're a trailblazer. I mean, if you don't get on the boat or off the boat or in the boat or beside the boat, then you might miss the boat. But we'll all float on.
We will all float on.
We'll all float on.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Are you a Modest Mouse fan? I have to ask.
Yeah. I honestly haven't listened to any of their newer stuff, but I liked Modest Mouse back in. I mean, you could probably tell me that song came out in like 2001, and I'll feel like it came out like 5 years ago. But
yeah, exactly. I was at one of their first live shows in Washington. I went to school in Washington, and we drove over to one of the other colleges, and it was like, I think it was Western Washington, and they blew 2 amps during the show and had to cancel the show.
Really?
But it was a great show. Their old stuff is amazing.
Yeah, I love their old stuff. A Lizard Queen, who also might be your roommate and wife, said you have a PMS coin. You're painting, remember?
Oh, that's true. I did. Yeah, there was a show where we did circular stuff. I painted a painting of my face on a coin, and it says, I think it says I owe you something. I can't remember what it is, but I'll have to pull that out.
Pull it out. Maybe that'll be your NFT.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I just got to put a bow tie in there, and we're ready to go.
Done.
Done.
Yeah. See, if Ryan was a little better at his job, my co-host Chris would be on. I would have had the bow tie on the entire time. But, things happen. Well, Preston, I'd love to make an NFT of this show and sell it for at least the cost of a hot dog on the streets of New York. It might fetch a little more. You're way more popular than the Chris's, but we appreciate you for coming on with us today at PMS Artwork on Instagram and all over the World Wide Web, and your podcast and Clubhouse we didn't even get a chance to talk about.
I was going to ask you about Clubhouse.
You're doing a little bit of everything. I know of Clubhouse. I'm on it. I don't do anything on it, and I recently followed you.
Hey, we're doing a room tomorrow. I'm in a group with Alejandro Castañon and a couple, Bliss and Alex, and it's called The Sustainable Artist, and we give tips to artists trying to figure stuff out. So tomorrow at 11:30 Pacific Standard Time, if you're available, check it out.
Cool. Looking forward to it.
The podcast is The Living Artist.
Awesome. Podcast Living Artist at PMS Artwork on the gram. We appreciate you, Preston. Thanks for dealing with all the technical issues with us today. And we love. Oh yeah, it's. I'll get Ryan to straighten this out too. It's a little.
Yeah, CGI it if you can.
I'll just go like this the whole time. Thanks again, brother.
Thanks for having me on. It was great.
Appreciate it. Also, I don't think it lets me kick you off anymore either. As I was trying to get Chris back on. So yeah, we'll just sit here in silence until.
Here, let me leave, and maybe he can get back on.
I'll miss you.
And by the way, Chris, thanks for being a good sport.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
That was Preston Smith at PMS Artwork on the Instagram. The Living Artist podcast available where all fine podcasts are sold. Please check him out. Great guy, and dealt with our technical issues, which we appreciate as well. I mean, he's so popular now, especially with his artwork. He could have just blown us off, but he stuck around and decided to stay on the boat. Oh wow, you're still there.
Hey, haven't left.
Wow.
Still rocking the hat.
Oh, were you asking those questions, or was Ryan doing that for you?
Actually, Freddie was. He just left. Freddie the dog, yeah. Where all this fire from Lulu was coming from, he said he agrees that Chris number 2 is better.
You know what? I don't label people or numbers, so I don't even know who Chris 1 or 2 is. But Lulu is a little upset about not being nominated for Best Pet, considering Lulu has actually never been on the show before.
Ouch.
Yeah. Oh.
There's Freddie. There he is.
Oh, hey, Freddie.
He was the one typing all the questions away. I kind of left, so I hope you said some good things.
Yeah, I hope so. Freddie sometimes is a little vulgar, but usually he's right on the money.
Yeah, well, vulgar things too. I just caught the very end of it when Preston was talking about Clubhouse and doing a room. Is that the proper way to? It just sounds like PG-13ish. Doing a room.
It's kind of like doing the do, but in a room.
So you do the do in the room. So is it a bathroom show? Is this a bath podcast? Is this a bath bomb?
You can ask the man sitting right behind you.
What do you think?
Yeah.
This is all he cares about.
Give a dog a bone. Shout out to DMX again. Ryan and Lulu, more like Freddie and Lulu.
Ooh, yes, Freddie and Lulu.
Wow.
Hold on, let's see.
A man who always has his hands dirty, Williams Pottery, said hat swag on another level.
Oh, thanks, Will. Yum. Oh, diaper kisses. We're the best of friends. I'm leaving tomorrow. It's gonna be sad to be missing my best friend. I realized that this is the longest I've stayed in a place for a whole year. I've been here a month.
Really?
Every month is the longest I've slept in a place for a whole year.
Huh. I've been sleeping on a twin-size bed for 3 weeks now. And it's a little tight.
Yeah, tight quarters. I just fixed the wood foot slats on the bed. They kept on falling off, and today I finally just drilled them in. Like the day I'm leaving, like my bed kept falling apart. The day I'm leaving, I was like, I'll fix this before I leave. So I could have actually done it early on and not been sliding off my bed. Probably gotta get some better sleep.
For the next month vacation in Arizona, you should do that.
Yeah, probably next month.
Also, shout out to a cat mom in Wisconsin. Who, it's funny, it looked like she had asked every single one of those questions when I put it up, so I had no idea who actually asked the question. It just showed her face, and then with no text, there's no text on Instagram questions today, so it could have been anything. It could have been her asking what I wanted if I wanted ice cream or a lactate. I have no idea.
I would go with both. We do have, William says he's been on a twin air for 3 months now. Wow.
I'm a huge. First off, I don't draw the line in the sand for many things. I draw the line in the sand for air mattresses. I think whoever invented the air mattress also invented the speed bump and ketchup packets, because there's never enough ketchup in one ketchup packet for your ketchup needs. But
so you're saying there's not enough bump in the speed bump?
No, the speed bumps are just the devil. The devil invented that. The devil also invented air mattresses because you think they feel better than non-air mattresses, but I would rather sleep on soft ground than an air mattress because you're always waking up on the ground anyway.
That's true. I feel like I'd rather sleep on hard floor. Yeah, you're right. You end up sleeping. You end up being like in a burrito of plastic around you.
Yeah, yeah. Our sponsor next week, air mattresses. You'll end up on the ground anyway.
Yeah, you'll end up there anyways. Shout out to our sponsors today. Thanks Trader Joe's, coconut body butter and coconut water, nourishing and hydrating all the artists from within. And without, I don't know.
Coconut chicken, shout out to Amber. This episode will be in 2 parts as Instagram hates us and didn't allow 3 of us, which I think is still possible. Maybe it's not, since last Wednesday when we did the show. We are on every day that ends in Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Standard Time. Check us out across the internet at QWT. 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 Thanks everyone for joining us. We appreciate you. This show will be on the Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, MySpace, maybe. Who knows?
Catch you next week.
Boop, 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 boop.
Colors.
Love will tear us apart again. Ryan Finn.